It is 6 p.m. Monday, April 21st. I will call to order the Winooski Liquor Control Board meeting. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Ridley.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Come on up, Jenny.
So for your approval, Four Quarters Brewing, Hickok and River, and Mattarello Baked Goods for a sidewalk permit. And there's no concerns with staff.
Okay, great. Any questions from council?
None. Oh, one clarification. Are the
Certainly.
conditional still conditional?
Yes.
Okay. Hearing no concerns, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Bryn, second by Charlie. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
you.
Approved. Thank you. That's the end of the Liquor Control Board agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Aurora, second by Bryn. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. So it is 6:01 p.m. and I will call to order the City Council meeting. Agenda review is first. Any concerns about our order this evening?
No.
Okay. Next up is public comment. So this is space for comments from and questions on topics that are not included on the agenda. There's time for public comment in each item that is in the agenda. So if you are here for something on the agenda, would ask you to hold for that if you can. Otherwise, if there is public comment for something not on the agenda this evening, you can use the chat or raise hand feature to let us know. Okay. Seeing no comment, we'll move on to the consent agenda. So we have our Council and Liquor Control Board meeting minutes from April 7th, the payroll warrant and accounts payable warrants, a Frontline Workers Appreciation Month proclamation, an Arbor Day proclamation, and the Downtown Winooski payment schedule. Are there any concerns about any of our consent agenda items?
No.
Hearing no concerns, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Aurora. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is council reports. Aurora, will you kick us off?
Certainly. I have a bit of a longer one this time. Inclusion and Belonging Commission met twice last week. The first was a special meeting on Monday the 14th to discuss the city's current community engagement plan. City Manager Wong was there to provide some additional details on that. It led to a discussion on how the IMB Commission can best help with this, as well as assist in the city's goals to bring people together to create a better sense of inclusion. The Commission shared many thoughts and began a discussion on if the IMB Commission should work with partners to run an event specifically around inclusion. On April 17th was the regular Inclusion and Belonging Commission meeting, and that began by wrapping up the discussion that the Commission was talking about on Monday about running an event. It was unanimously agreed, and a separate committee will be formed with the Commission members to hold this event, and they hope to bring on other community stakeholders such as the city, Downtown Winooski, and the Working Communities Challenge core team. In addition to discussing this, the Commission received an update and details on the Working Communities Challenge grant and what work that's being done, kind of what it means and what goals it is working on. Much of what was shared parallels what was included or what is included on our last regular agenda item, updating the economic vitality update. This presentation and the discussion about the potential event took up much of the meeting, and so the other items were moved to the next commission meeting, which will be on the second Tuesday of June, so the 12th, to avoid conflict with Juneteenth events. That's it.
All right, thank you. Bryn?
Sure, got a couple updates. First, I'll start with Chittenden Solid Waste District. We had an earlier full board meeting than we normally do this month, because there were too many conflicts to have a quorum. So we met this past Wednesday, April 16th. During that board meeting, CSWD staff had presented discussion approval item that had been through the finance committee as well as the executive committee, requesting a $10 increase to the solid waste management fee. The decision was to do that instead of a per capita fee because it was deemed to be more equitable distribution for all solid waste generators in the county, rather than just those that effectively are paying property taxes. They had done some extensive conversation about phasing it in. There was some public comment from haulers that joined the meeting. Ultimately, the fee needed to be increased as a way to offset unexpected increases in cost for the material recycling facility that needs to be built. Unfortunately, the parcel that CSW had hoped to build on was had an updated delineation during the pandemic, and the state found wetlands, and staying true to the core mission of the organization, it was opted to find a different parcel, rather than filling in those wetlands for a fee. So that raised the need for unexpected parcel procurement fees and some delayed costs for development that will need to be covered. And unfortunately, those expenses do not appear like they will be covered by any other third-party revenue sources at this time. But I know the team will be searching for alternatives as things progress. And that was also preferred over going out for another bond. So that had also been discussed too. The next meeting, full board meeting, will be later. It's probably its regular date in May, which should be May 28th. And then before then, on May 3rd, always the first Saturday of May is Green Up Day. And I'm sure that our city manager will be getting into some of those details for updates too, so I won't steal her thunder.
I don't have any for today,
Oh, okay.
so if you want to.
All right.
You can do more next time.
I believe that will be, Parks and Rec will be leading that at the senior center, more than likely.
More than likely.
As it has been in previous years, feel free to come and pick up bags at City Hall ahead of time. If you do collect, leave the bags, collect trash, litter, leave them on major intersections for the city staff to pick up on May 3rd, or bring them preferably to the senior center to drop off in the roll-off container that will be provided there. I'm sure there will be light refreshments, as there have been in the past, lots of friendly faces, and I hope to see you out there as well. So I guess I'll cover that.
Nice.
The Infrastructure Commission met this past Thursday. We covered the temporary routes mosaic campaign, marketing campaign for Main Street, which may be covered by this. No, okay, also not. All right. But we introduced that to the commissioners in the event that they weren't aware of it already. We covered an update on the phase we're in for Main Street construction, covered some high-level questions on traffic rerouting, and what timing could be expected for the remainder of this construction season. We also had a presentation from a member of the Winooski Alliance for Active Transportation on their group's effort to create a pilot project, a temporary pilot project on East Spring Street for a bike lane. Conversation with the city is stalled on that effort for now, but some productive conversation on pathways to continue to discuss options to getting to yes potentially for next construction, next spring or summer. So there's a good conversation there, and I'm sure that there will be more engagement from the group coming to the city. Lastly, we covered the strategic planning retreat that council will have with city staff next month, and because of it, we'll be moving our meeting from that regular third Thursday to the day before on May 14th. And we also mentioned commissioner terms ending in June and process to express interest to stay on. That was a lot. Sorry.
No worries. Finance Commission unfortunately didn't have a quorum this month, so we have postponed their review of the small business loan program to hopefully the next meeting, May 13th. And the Planning Commission is meeting in tandem with the Housing Commission tomorrow at 6 p.m. This joint meeting will include a presentation from the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission on Act 181, the future land use maps, and draft housing targets for Winooski. That meeting is on Zoom. I think it's Zoom preferred, not in person.
Both?
Both? You can do both. Okay.
Do both.
Okay, so you can join via Zoom or you can come into City Hall at 6 p.m. tomorrow. That's it for me.
Christine just covered my update.
Great. All right, we will move on to city updates. Elaine.
Sure. So as previously announced, the transfer of the O'Brien Community Center to the Champlain Housing Trust is moving along. There's not a lot of drama happening, but it's been a long time since we've updated the community. So that's the point of this update. It is, as a reminder, an exciting opportunity to renovate the building, and it has a focus on expanding the library, health center, dental office, and community spaces. A short delay was caused by environmental cleanup required, but that work is going well. And the renovation team is finalizing designs and planning a phased construction schedule. More fundraising is needed and underway, and we continue to monitor the ever-changing federal funding landscape. While the design of the building spaces and designs are complete, community members interested in getting engaged in the process can provide feedback about the aesthetic features of the library, such as furnitures and art and that sort of those sorts of topics. As of last month, the plan is to start renovating the library in January. Residents and visitors interested in renting space at the O'Brien Center should call or email Arbai Muhuna at the Champlain Housing Trust. She may be contacted at arbai, A-R-B as in boy, A-I dot M as in municipal, that's terrible, U-H-I, as in Nancy, A, at champlainhousingtrust.org, or by calling 802-881-9599. That's 881-9599. And that's all.
Thank you, Elaine. Okay, moving on to our regular items. First on for discussion approval is a public hearing for new public rights-of-way consideration. Welcome, Rebby. Would you like to do a brief introduction before I open the public hearing?
Sure. So as I think many are aware that there is construction going on at the corner of Winooski Falls Way and Abenaki Way for the municipal garage, as well as 83 housing units and 110 hotel units going up. As part of that project, they are proposing 2 new public roadways. One is an extension of Winooski Falls Way, going eastward towards Casavan. And another is another roadway just north of the project in between Vermont Community College and the project location where the garage is going, also going eastward toward Casavan. So think twice about directions. So as part of that process, because these are public rights of way, a public hearing process is required to collect comments on these proposed public rights of way. After you consider the location of the public rights of way and comments that you hear, if you want to move forward with it, then you would commission a survey, and then I think I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here, but after the survey is commissioned, then that would all be recorded into the land records after you approve the survey and the report and the findings.
All right, thank you, Abby. So a public hearing has been noticed for the consideration of new public rights of way. At this time, I would like to open the public hearing. If you are attending via Zoom and wish to make a comment for this public hearing, please use the chat or raise hand feature. Okay, seeing no comment, I will now close the public hearing. I think then we can move on to item B, commissioning of a survey, as you were just alluding to, maybe.
Yeah, so the next part of this process is to determine typically is to determine the actual locations of the roadways. We already have a survey, but this would be specific to the right-of-way and accepting the right-of-way. So that portion would need to be done in order to accept the right-of-way as a public roadway. So in this process, if you want to move forward with this new public roadway and potentially accepting it, then you would vote to commission a survey. That survey would be done within 60 days. And then at a later time, within 60 days, it would come back to you with the report and findings. And then that would then be handed over to the clerk to record, and that would formalize the acceptance of the public roadways.
Thank you. Does council have any questions about this survey commissioning for these rights of way?
No.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve commissioning a survey of the roadways?
So moved?
Second?
Motion by Charlie, second by Aurora. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. And on to item C, the new roadway names.
So for these roadways, 2 names would need to be accepted by and approved on by you. And one of the roadways is an extension of Winooski Falls Way, so that roadway name would have to be voted on and approved by you because it is a new public roadway. The second roadway, this is a brand new roadway, and this, the name suggested is Community Way. This was suggested by the developers to give respect to Community College of Vermont. Both of these names have been cleared by police and fire, ensuring that the name wouldn't affect emergency response and it would be pursuant to E911 standards. The names have to be accepted, agreed upon now, because it would be part of the survey. So the survey would include the roadway names, and then so when the roadways get finalized, the names also get finalized too, and that all gets binded when it's recorded.
All right, thank you. Any questions, concerns about these names?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the new roadway names of Winooski Falls Way and Community Way?
So moved?
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Riley.
Okay, we are on to item D, on for discussion approval. A decision whether to pause on accepting Winooski small business loan applications. If you'll recall, when we previously discussed this at a meeting and directed the Finance Commission to give a review of the program, we had some discussion about pausing applications, but I did go back to the video and we really didn't say one way or the other. So asking for direction for staff tonight. You can see in Elaine's cover sheet, you know, given the balance we're at and that we are kind of reevaluating it, the recommendation is to take a pause. Anything to add?
Yes, I did warn it as accepting, but if, I would recommend council change that to the wording in the cover sheet of considering. My goal with this wording is that the pause in accepting may discourage potential applicants from even having an initial discussion with staff, which I don't think is necessary. Of course, I would recommend to them that they not spend their time applying in case the guidelines and conditions change, but at least they would have some interaction with us. I will say that I had an encouraging update from Opportunities Credit Union just today that makes me optimistic that we will be able to restructure the memorandum of understanding with them such that the fund is no longer self-depleting. However, there hasn't been progress to report on yet for replenishing. So my recommendation still stands.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from council?
No, this makes sense, especially because I feel like there was unnecessary tension with the last two applications, which it feels like something to resolve on our end instead of like putting that on additional applicants.
Yeah, and we may be able to do that through a process update.
Yeah.
Any public comment on this item? Okay, do I have a motion to pause considering Winooski small business loan applications until we have reviewed a recommendation on the program from the Finance Commission and decided to resume considering applications?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bryn, second by Aurora. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. We are on to item D, our strategic vision goal updates, which I believe Elaine will be leading for all and economic vitality.
Yes, and just a quick preview, I'm proposing for the next round and going forward, instead of all, it's cross-cutting, because sometimes it's not actually all and it feels awkward. But it is what is adopted now. So for now, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things both from the all goal update. So for A1, regarding the part of that strategy to revisit the scope of the equity director role, council adopted and voters approved the city manager's proposal to include in the fiscal year 2026 budget a Winooski contribution of $25,000 to a shared equity policy advisor that would be employed by the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission. One other municipality, Essex Junction, had this contribution adopted by their voters. Their city budget is voted on in April, so that was passed on April 8th. The city manager and CCRPC executive director agreed that the next step would be to try to convene the original 6 municipalities to discuss options. That meeting is still being scheduled. And then my last note is on A3 regarding the status of the language access procedure. Just did you have any questions on what the communications director provided in the packet? It was a lengthier update than usual to reflect the progress that's been made. And I know there's been questions.
So it may be a kind of timely, like, order of operations question, I guess. I'm not seeing anything in here on proposing a budget.
Right, so we're still working through that. We have some money even this fiscal year that we could put towards that, like we have translation budget that we haven't fully spent down.
Mm-hmm.
And so, right, we don't have, once the procedure details will shape what we think the money should be. And since we're not in a budget proposal cycle right now, it doesn't make sense to be trying to propose now. We'll be working through some of the piloting in the coming months ahead of the fiscal year 2027 budget proposal.
I see. Okay.
We do have some money to spend though, so it's not just an empty thing.
Yep, I think as we get into our retreat next month, I think that will be something that I'm looking for this coming fall.
Yeah, so some of what I don't remember if I left in the communication director's draft is that progress has been fit and starts because he's working on it. He's leading it. His time gets disrupted often, and then he has to work with other people who are in the same boat. So heard, and we'll work towards that, but we might not have money, we might not have line items in time for that retreat. But we will have it by.
I don't expect it for the retreat.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Sorry.
misunderstood then.
Yeah, not expecting that. As we start to develop the FY26 priorities, I would hope to see that a language access plan budget is encompassed in the things that we can expect.
Oh, I see, yes,
In
gotcha.
FY26.
Certainly.
I personally would hope to be able to include that in consideration for voting next January
Got
for the
it, okay.
FY27 budget. So,
Now I understand.
sorry, that wasn't very clear, but
It's all good.
hopefully it takes some pressure off.
It does.
Okay. Yes, not expecting it in 3 weeks. Yeah,
Sounds great, thanks.
sure.
Any other questions in the all area? Okay,
That's all I was gonna report on, so if there's no other questions on the other updates, happy to move
Anything
on.
out of economic vitality or the equity memo that folks want to follow up on?
I wanted to do a quick highlight, oh, now, there it is. With the EV2, specifically working to accelerate accreditation for international professionals, to get folks that have like medical graduate degrees to be able to do that work in the US. That's something I've been hearing talked about, oh my gosh, probably in just about every different role throughout, then in Vermont. So like from Howard Center to universities, to this work at the city. So just wanted to highlight that. Feels very exciting, to see some significant movement.
Yeah, that's a theme I've been hearing about for years.
Yeah.
And conveniently, we have, one of our representatives would be on one of the committees of jurisdiction, so,
Oh, great.
yeah, Daisy has expressed interest in being supportive.
Wonderful.
Also exciting that the Winooski Working Communities Challenge Grant received the extension funding.
Yes, very exciting.
Okay, any questions, comments from members of the public? Okay, thank you for these updates. We'll move on to an executive session, which has been warned pursuant to state statutes which exempt from public inspection contracts.
Question, do you need one?
Oh, that's a great point. So this has been warned for the city manager's contract. We've been previewed what changes have been proposed to the contract for renewal. If we want an executive session to discuss those proposed changes, we can do that. If that doesn't feel necessary, we can also take action without.
I don't personally feel I feel like the updates that we got, met any questions I would have.
Defer to you.
I do not feel like we need one. These changes were previewed to us previously and no one has raised concerns, so it sounds like we're probably good to move on it.
I feel like they're in line with council priorities for the city manager.
Okay. Well, then we can skip that and get back to regular item number 9, letter A. We have the city manager's contract on for renewal for another nearly 3-year term, with the end date slightly shifted to occur before town meeting day instead of right after potentially there are new councilors in place. Any questions or comments?
Just good catch. That makes it a lot more of a fair and transparent process.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, I'm glad I thought of that. It's gonna be very stressful around that if not.
Do I have a motion to approve the city manager contract?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Aurora, second by Charlie. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Elaine.
Now I can get my husband on replacing my table. He said he
Thanks
would
for
make,
sticking with us.
thank you for having me.
That is the end of this evening's agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Bryn, second by Charlie. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries and meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Record? No, the last one was record.